Hello, everyone. This is the Algebra 2 notes. It's the second day of 0.1. We're going to be solving multi-step inequalities here. You have a table at the top that tells you which direction to shade on a number line. So if you have a less than, it means you would shade to the left and be an open circle. So we'll use that as we get going here. Let's go ahead and try the first problem. So the first problem says solve and graph the inequality. So I'll start by combining like terms on the right-hand side. I'll put these two together to make a -9. I'll add 9 to both sides. And then divide by 3. If at any time this video goes a little too fast, feel free to pause it. You can always pause to try the problems as well. 9 divided by 3 is 3 is greater than x. Now for these problems, what I would like is I would like all the x's to be first. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. So that way the x is first. When I do that, I'm going to have to flip the 3 to the other side, the x to the other side, and I'm also going to have to flip the inequality in the middle. So everything got flipped around. That's a less than symbol. If we go up to the top, right here, means we're going to shade it to the left. Less than numbers would be to the left. And it's going to be an open circle. So on my grid, my number line, I'm going to have an open circle at 3. And shade over to the left. There we go. For the next problem, again, I'll start by combining like terms on the same side. 1 and -1 makes 0. Divide by 4. And we get a -2. X is already on the first side here, so this problem is done. This is a greater than or equal to problem. So greater than and equal to. We're going to be right here, which means we're going to shade to the right. Numbers that are greater would be to the right. And you're going to fill in a closed circle. So closed circle at -2, and then filling it in, pointing that arrow towards the right. There we go. For example number 3, we're going to start by clearing the fractions. So I'll put 2 over 1, and I'm looking for a common denominator between 6 and 4. The common denominator I'm going to use is going to be 12. So my goal is to make each of the denominators 12. The first one, 4 times what is 12? That's 3. For the next one, 6 times what is 12? That's 2. And for 1, I have to multiply by 12 to get 12. Then I multiply the numerators and denominators. Once you have common denominators, remember you would cancel these out. And just your numerators would make your new problem. Subtract 24 from both sides. And divide by 2. So -15 over 2 is greater than x. I'm going to go ahead and flip that around so that my x is first. And remember, as you flip that, you would also flip the inequality. And 15 over 2, because that's a fraction, I think maybe let's turn it into a decimal. That would give me -7.5. It's going to be a little bit easier to graph. And notice on this graph, we don't have the numbers filled in. So I'm just going to fill in a few of the numbers. I'll fill in -8 and -7. Because -7.5 is directly between those two. And maybe I'll fill out a couple more on each side. There we go. And then I'll put the -7.5 right in between here, open circle, because it does not have the or equal to underneath it. And then we'll point it over to the left. All right. For the next example, number 4, we'll need to start by distributing the negative. So 7 is less than k plus 3 plus 2. We'll add the 3 and the 2 to get 5 and subtract the 5. 2 is less than k. Of course, I want to flip it around so that the variable, the letter, is always first. So I'll write it as k is greater than 2. This will be an open circle because it does not have the or equal to line. And you could even see that this arrow is pointing to the right, which means it's a greater than symbol. So we're going to do 2, open circle, and fill it in and point that arrow to the right-hand side. Just like that. So if you're feeling good on this, you can always pause the video and try the next couple problems, and then you can fast forward through and check your answers. I'll do these a little bit quicker. So again, really good opportunity to pause the video and try these. Combine like terms. Subtract the 2. And then at this point, you have dividing by a negative 2. When you divide by a negative 2, you need to flip the fraction. So, sorry, not flip the fraction, flip the inequality. So you can see right here that I'm dividing by a negative 2. And when I do that, this inequality is going to flip the opposite direction. So this is important to write down. Make sure you have that in your notes. And we can graph it the same way we normally have been doing. Open circle and to the right. All right, example number 6, another distributing problem here. I'll bring down 26 plus m, negative 30 plus 15m. And then because my m, my variable, needs to be on at the beginning anyway, I'm going to go ahead and move the 15m over to this side. So 26 minus 14m is greater than or equal to negative 30. Then I'll subtract 26. These are both negative, so I'm going to add the numbers together, getting me a negative 56. And then divide by negative 14. Again, another dividing by a negative here, so I will need to flip my inequality. M, flip it, and 56 divided by 14 is 4. Since they're both negatives, those both negatives cancel out. And there's my final answer. M is less than or equal to 4. So any numbers that are smaller than 4 or equal to 4 are going to count as my solution. So anything from 4, include it using the closed arrow. And anything smaller than that on your number line would be to the left. All right, the last two problems. Again, we have another distributing problem. So a minus 15 is greater than 24 minus 12a. I'm going to move the 12a. Again, I like to have the a's on the left-hand side. That way I don't have to switch it over at the end. One less thing to do. And then add 15. Oops. There we go. 39. And divide by 13. Now this time I'm dividing by a positive number, so you don't need to flip it. You don't need to flip this one. Variable's already in the front, so we're good to go. See if you can graph that one. You should have an open circle on 3, and you want numbers that are greater than that, so you're going to point it to the right. All right, our last problem, again, another distributing. So 1, 2, 1, 2. Negative 6 minus 36x, being careful with those negatives. Bring down your less than sign. Distribute again. I'm going to move my x's again over to the other side. So that way they are on the left-hand side when I finish the problem. I'll add 6 to both sides. And at the end, I'll divide by negative 6. Notice here I'm dividing by negative 6. So I'm going to switch colors in the pink to remind everybody. We're going to switch this around. And then we get negative 2. All right. My number line is not filled out. So we're just going to want to put a few numbers on here. Of course, the one that you need to plot, negative 2, I'll put right there. And then maybe negative 1, 0, negative 3, negative 4. You don't have to fill in all the numbers on the number line, and you also don't have to count by ones. Open circle there, and greater than means to the right. All right, there we go. Nice work.